Well, I am here at Lake Whitney State Park, and currently I am trying to find the start of the trails. It's not all that big of a park. There's only 2 individual trail systems, but excuse me a moment. Okay, so both trails are just around a mile, but the office ranger also told me that I could walk around the road as well, and that's about 3 miles. Now, the park is $5 per person, and I tell you what, I am so very grateful that we invested in the park pass, and that's $70 for a year, and you can get in any state park here in Texas with it. It's wonderful. It's a money saver in the end, and it really does pay off. It pays for itself because you just, well, it pays off. So when I get to the first trail, I'll let you see it. Now it says here that there's a point of interest, showed the Towash settlement, and I see it here on the map. It's interesting. It says the ruins of the Towash settlement, named for a Hainai Indian chief, were inundated by Lake Whitney. So I'm going to try very hard to remember to get you there. Let's see if we can find those ruins first. It looks like it's down this way, so let's see if I can find it. That would be something to look at along with the trail. I'll see you there. Okay, I am assuming that I'm there, and honestly, there isn't anything here. I'll show you. We've got an open place right here. It's close to the boat dock. It's just an open spot that has basically been kept mowed, and then just a forestry right there. I don't see any ruins. And then like here, past these logs, is picnic tables and a grill. I do not see anything that is of a ruin or any sign that there had once been civilization. But it is a nice view of the lake. So let's go on ahead and find that trail. We're very close to it according to the map. I'll see you there. As you can see, I'm not dressed over or with coats and jackets and a hood. It is a much more beautiful day today. It's in the upper 70s. I really don't even need this jacket. It's beautiful out. And we are at the trail. Hubby could parked right here. Oh well. I'll see you on the trail. Now right next to this trail is a pretty large sized building. Not knowing what it is though. And this does a complete loop, so we'll go this way and we'll be ending up out that way. I know I got the camera crooked for you, and I'm sorry about that, but I was doing it one-handed. I didn't want to shut the camera off just to reverse it. Anyway, looking on the legend of the map, that is a recreation hall. Cool. All right. So there doesn't appear to be any points of interest on this trail. So basically, I'll just show you any beautiful sceneries. So let me go on ahead and flip it around for you now. This is what we've got. The terrain is somewhat rough. She had mentioned that it was a little bit of a rough terrain, but it wasn't bad. So I am looking for it to somewhat be a challenge, even if it's just a small challenge. The second trail, she said, is a grassland. So at least you're going to be getting to see two different types of trails. The second trail is on the other side of the park. So when I finish with this trail, me and hubby will have to drive around and get to the other one. Now this is just, according to the map, it's only 0.9. Once again, I forgot to turn on my Under Armour, so excuse me while I turn on my Under Armour, my exercise tracker. And she did mention that I could also walk along the roadway that's about 3 miles, and it does a loop, and there's some beautiful scenery through there. I might consider doing that before I finish this one up, before I finish this side up and go on to the other trail, because the way it goes, I'm going to be cheated out a lot of mileage. Well, you know, just not be putting in a lot of a workout. The other one is just 0.9 also. So, you know, I also wanted to mention that since it's a warmer day today, this phone, because that's right, I'm using my video phone, is doing just fine. She really does not like the icy cold. She shuts down. But she's old. I've been using this phone for over a year just for videos. I have done around 910 videos on this phone. So she's giving me good life. And, you know, I don't want to lose this phone for anything. It's got tons of memories. It's a 125. And I've just about got it paid off. I only owe like $60 left on it. So, you know, yeah, I want to continue putting some good use to her. So it is a relief to know that it was just because it was so bitterly cold the reason why the battery didn't hold up. Because she sure works fine now. That's what I've been giving y'all my journey vlogs on. She works just fine. Anyway, basically it looks like it's on the whole part a trail that was mowed out specifically for hiking, and then with a lot of foot traffic has just, you know, pretty well packed it down and made it a definite thing. Looks like someone tried to cut. There's a through there. That could have been a deer, but there's track there too, which tells me it might have been a tractor. So that would be tire marks. Anyway, so far this is open field. Oh, and the other thing that was mentioned on all trails, this is next to the lake, and there was some major flooding, and it had said that, like for instance, the shelters, like the picnic shelters, whatever, wouldn't have had any roof or something like that. In other words, any shelters had been ruined from the flood, and that was basically the only thing that was affected here. And it had given caution to just go on ahead and be sure to wear some kind of coverage, or to use something for coverage or whatever, you know. Other than that, yeah. But that's the chance you get when you've got parks that's close to lakes like this, and most parks are. Most parks are settled around lakes. And if you've got rain seasons, that can cause flooding. The Woodway Park that's got the haunted trails that I've shown you a couple times floods every year severely. And the park that is across the lake on the other side of the bridge also floods every year. Every year. Close around springtime or so. From February on out until around May or so, when it starts drying back up, it floods. And I've been here in Waco for 3 years, and every year it had flood. Every year around that time. And here we've got benches, so if anybody needs to take a breather, so that's good. So anyway, before I use up this phone, because it is still short on battery, like where the battery's getting old, I will see you at another point. I do have to say, this is a very beautiful park. I mean, it's clean. It's clean. And where hubby parked, there happens to be a, it's a screen shelter area, something like where we had stayed, what we had stayed in last week. And I want to show you this view. It's gorgeous here. Let me get back up here toward the top so that you can see this. It's just lovely. Okay, I'm going to go on ahead and move along. Believe it or not, there's actually mosquitoes here. So I don't want to give them any excuse to attach to me. I'll see you at another spot. The reflections are incredible. Seriously. I could see Bob Ross doing something like that. We've got some fishers out there in the lake. It's just so beautiful here. We have come across a bridge. Now, as it happens, this trail is called Two Bridges. So this is the first bridge. And later on, we will approach the second bridge. I'll show it off to you when we get to it. Here we've got a little bit of a trail that goes down to the beachfront of this lake. And you could tell that the lake is down a little. But believe me, when it really starts to rain, it'll pick back up. Let's continue on the trail. We are now here at the second bridge. Basically, they just cover deep ravines, drain-offs. This one is actually asphalted. They used pipe to make it. It must be to make sure that it holds up for when it floods. That makes sense. That does. That makes total sense. It really does. Because that lake could very easily wash all that out. Alright. I will see you at another point. I want you to see this old tree. How beautiful but gnarly. I mean, you know, it's gnarled up. It's all twisted and stuff, but it's just... it's old. So very beautiful in its own way. There are some really big old trees sitting here. Look how much they branch out, man. These are spectacular trees. There's an old one over there. There's this one here. They are just so huge. Incredible. Okay, we've come to the return point. Right there is the road. So that means that up here is the other branch. And once again, we are more deeper inland. But the scene was spectacular along the lake. It really was. It was spectacular. And she had told me that the name of this lake was something, but I don't remember what it was she had said. But I will get back with you when I get onto that other trail. Found a marker about the Towash. Towash, named for Hainai Indian chief, one of First Hill County settlements. Grist mill and carding machine built 1850 by S.C. Dyer established Towash as a trade center. By 1879 had 15 business enterprises. Declined after railroad bypass, ruins inundated by Lake Whitney. Okay, so this open spot right there obviously at one time had some businesses. Okay. Beautiful open field anyway. Okay, I am on the second trail, the Towash Forest Hike and Bike. This is more forestry. According to the map, you might see a little bit of water, but according to the ranger, it's the forest trail. So there are screened shelters here, and there are also the bathrooms that's got showers, so it is very convenient. I don't know if they heat the showers. I do not know if the bathrooms are heated or not. It felt pretty cool when I went in, but nonetheless, they do provide showers for the screen sheltered areas. So I got a little bit more story. The screened shelters are pretty close to the lake, and when it had flooded, it had damaged a lot of the screened shelters, and so they had to like fix them up and stuff. But other than that, it looked like it was in good shape. It had said something about there not being any shading, but I saw a lot of shading. So anyway, we'll just see what we'll see. Here's an old tree. It's done gave up its ghost. Anyway, I'll get back at you at a later point. A little bit of a lake view, open pasture. Oh, that tree ended up getting down to nothing. Beautiful wide open range. Very beautiful to see out there. This as well just does a small loop. So, I mean, it is just so open here. It's supposed to be a forest trail, but there was more forest in the other trail. This is just open, but I can see why that they had told you that there was no shading. There is no shading on this trail. No shading on this trail. But it's still a beautiful view. Oh, we've got, must be the end of the trail there. Or just circles around. There's cobwebs all through here. I'm running into cobwebs left and right. The majority of the trees here are just stumped. So, it's my guess it flooded really greatly. and really took out the majority of the trees that were weak. It's the only thing I can figure. I don't know. It might not. I don't know. We'll see. Yes, that shows that it just goes on down. So it's a very short loop. Very soft sand through here. The terrain is easy to walk on. I saw where the loop went around and connected, so yeah, Lake Whitney, it has more fishing and camping than anything. As far as it goes for hiking, like I said, it's only got 2 trails and they're only 0.9 a piece. So you're not really going to get any hiking. But if you really like boating and fishing, Lake Whitney is the place because it is a beautiful area. There are lots of shelters to rent. They're just screen shelters, but there's a lot of them. And there's also quite a few covered picnic areas too, and just open roofs over top the picnic tables. And so yeah, it's a small park, but it's beautiful overall, and it is definitely a fisherman's paradise, so to speak, but not necessarily a hiker's paradise because of the short trails and only being 2. Very beautiful lakes. But the ranger had said that you could walk along the road, which is about 3 miles if you would walk the road loop. So you still get somewhat of a workout if you don't mind walking an asphalt road. So yeah, for anybody who's into fishing and boating and wants to rent a screen shelter so that you can do so for a few days, I certainly recommend Lake Whitney. And seeing that there are 2 trails, at least wear proper shoes if you're going to hike, and wear the proper clothing. Considering that there is no shade, make sure to have plenty of water, especially in the hotter parts of the year. And if you're into wearing sunscreen and stuff, so do it. If you like using an umbrella for shading, so do it. But come and check Lake Whitney out. Lake Whitney in Whitney, Texas. And it is a state park. So once again, it's $5 per person. I do not know the pricing for renting the screen shelters, but the day pass is $5 per person. And just come and check the beautiful little place out. And I hope that you all enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Bye. No, you're not looking at the sky. You're looking at the lake. See? Beautiful reflections. Smell that familiar scent of fish.